What's going on, guys, and welcome to the channel. Right behind me is the Yota Xpedition 5th Gen 4Runner, and we just finished up installing the Morimoto Evo headlights. These are one of the hottest headlights on the market for the 5th Gen 4Runner. So let's go ahead and show you everything that's included and how to get these installed. All right, guys, right here on the table, we have all the stuff that's gonna be included with the headlights from Morimoto. Now, it looks like there's a lot going on here on the table, but we're gonna go over each piece individually, tell you what it's for and how it works. So let's start out with the signal swap keys. That's gonna be the black, green, and red little things down here on the table. There's also some blue ones mounted to the back of the headlights already. These are going to allow you to switch the color and function of both the DRL and the turn signals of the headlights. So quick rundown of each color and what they do. The black set is going to give you an amber DRL and also a sequential turn signal. The red keys are going to give you a white DRL and a fade off turn signal, so they won't be sequential. The green set is going to be an amber DRL with a fade off turn signal. And the blue set, which is already installed on the headlights, is going to be a white DRL with a sequential turn signal. There's kind of a lot going on there, so I'll just throw up a chart on the screen showing you guys exactly what each color does. As far as wiring goes, this set makes it super easy. They send you everything you could possibly need to make sure that it mounts right into your 4Runner. Whereas some other headlights, you might have to do some homework to know exactly what style or what plugs you have on your 4Runner. So it comes with two different sets. You guys have to just determine which ones you need. Just match up the plugs to the plugs on your 4Runner, and then this will plug right into the back of the headlight. Makes it very easy. So they're giving you two different harnesses, one if you have OE halogen headlights and one if you have OE LED headlights. Moving along, you have a set of resistors here. These are gonna plug right into those harnesses, and they also have a magnet on the backside, which makes mounting this very easy. Just find anything metal underneath the hood and slap it right on there. Down here on the other side of the table, we're gonna have another harness. This is for your DRL lighting. So that we're gonna have to run into the fuse box either under the hood, or you can run it into the interior as well. There is an extension harness there to give you some extra length to get it into the interior of your 4Runner. Last but not least, we have the Superchargers. These are an optional feature that's an add-on for these headlights, and it's gonna cost about an extra 175 bucks. Now, there already is some mounted to the back of the headlights, but those are DOT rated. These are gonna be 30 to 50% brighter, and they're technically for off-road use only. But if you do install these, I don't think you're gonna get pulled over, but the people coming at you on the road are probably not gonna be too happy. All that being said, let's go ahead and start pulling apart the 4Runner. We already do have some aftermarket headlights installed on here, some Alpha Rex headlights, but to take those out is gonna be the same as your factory ones, so you guys can follow along. We are gonna have to do some disassembly of the front bumper and the grille to get to access of all the bolts, but let's go ahead and get into it. When it comes to tools, you're not gonna need a whole lot. We have a trim prying tool, a Phillips head screwdriver, and a ratchet with a 10mm socket. All right, so step one, we got the hood opened, and we need to remove this plastic panel on top. So you're gonna have a bunch of push clips. So simply just push in the center and then lift out the clip. So we'll go ahead and do all of those and remove this panel. Next, we're gonna get access to the bolts for the headlights. So we do need to remove this because there is a bolt right down here. There's also gonna be another bolt inside here. So we do need to unbolt the bumper here and pop that out so that we can get access to that. And then you have your one bolt here, and there's also another bolt underneath there. So we'll go ahead first and we'll get this removed. You're gonna have a clip on this side, a clip on this side. We'll pop both of those out. We also have a 10mm bolt here in the center as well. So with the trim prying tool, we'll go ahead and pop the center of those up, and then you can just pull that out. Take out this 10mm bolt. Okay, with the two clips out and that 10mm bolt, there is a couple of clips down here. You can see there's one here, there is one right here, and then two on the other side as well. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this piece straight out from the bumper. There's also gonna be a couple of clips in here as well that you need to get out. So go ahead and work on getting this removed, just like so. If this is the first time you're doing this, it might take a little bit of force. This has been out multiple times now, so it might be a little bit easier. Okay, there's also some underneath the logo in the center. There we go. Okay, got that removed. Here are the two clips that are on the bottom side of the logo, which you can see those go in right through here. So with the upper portion of the grill removed, you can see now we have easy access to those 10mm bolts for this part of the headlight. But now we're gonna head to the wheel well. We're gonna get the 10mm bolts removed there so that we can get access to the bolt that's behind the bumper. You can obviously see that our bumper has been cut for this C4 bumper, but we still have two bolts that we need to remove so that we can pop this away from the 4Runner. You're gonna have a couple more bolts or clips here if your bumper is still stock. But we're gonna go ahead and remove both of these 10mm bolts, and then we can pop this out and get access to that other bolt. So we got both bolts out, and on this top one, you can see there is a piece of plastic from the bumper that goes around that insert where the bolt goes. You don't want to just pull this straight out because you're probably going to end up breaking that. I've seen people do that a bunch of times. So you want to make sure to pull this down across that insert first so it clears, and then pull it out. Otherwise, this little piece right here, you'll end up snapping that off. And then for this bottom plastic clip, we're going to use a trim prying tool. Just get in between the clip and the bumper itself and give that a little wiggle, and it should pop out. But with both of those removed, now you can just work your way around the bumper, and that will pop off. And right here is our bolt that we need to get access to. So the last bolt we need access to is this one up here in the corner. So you can either just bend this out of your way to get to that bolt, or what you can do is just pop this up. We're gonna push this towards the windshield and pop this whole thing off like so, and that will give us a little bit better access to that bolt. All right, so we got access to all of our bolts. We got this one, the one that was behind the upper portion of the grill, and the one that is on the side of the bumper. We'll go ahead and remove those 4 bolts, and then we can pull out the headlight and remove the plugs. Bolts are out. Now we're gonna go ahead and remove the headlight. You have these 2 tabs where you remove those bolts. You do need to lift up a little bit on the headlight to get it around the plastic insert that is inside there. You can see that one popped out. Got that one off. Now we can go ahead and start wiggling this thing and getting it out of the bumper. There we go. Got a lot of wires to do here, so we'll go ahead and unhook all of this stuff. There we go. We do have some jumper harnesses in here for the Alpha X headlights, so we're gonna get those out of here as well. That's it. All right, so we got both headlights out. Now we need to remove the extra wiring harness from the Alpha X headlights that went to our fuse box. So we'll go ahead and rip all that out now. A lot going on here. There's definitely a lot less wiring on the Morimoto headlights. All right, so headlights and wiring are fully removed now from the 4Runner. While we have this apart on this 4Runner, we're also doing a TRD Pro style grill. Obviously, we're not gonna be showing you all of that in this video, but if you see the grill change, that's why. So once you're ready to get your headlights installed, the first thing we're gonna do is figure out which wiring harnesses you need for your 4Runner. So take one of each, head over to your 4Runner and match up all the plugs. Only one set is going to fit, and only one plug is going to fit each plug, so you can't mix anything up. So let's go ahead and figure out exactly which set we need. So we got both styles of harness here over at the 4Runner, and just take your factory plugs and make sure everything lines up. So you got triangle style plug here. That one's gonna go in there. This one has a cap on it, but that is going to plug in there. You got a square one here. That one goes in there. And we got this plug here. Those two go together, and then you're gonna have one last plug on this, but that is for the resistor. That's not gonna plug into any of your factory plugs. So once you find out which harness you need, I'm gonna go ahead and do both sides. Make sure you push the plug in all the way until you hear it click. And then we'll go ahead and start running the other harness for the DRLs. Here we got the resistor. That's gonna go into that last plug. And then these are really nice with that magnet on there. So we can just take it and stick it to like this inner part of the framework for your front bumper, and that is not going anywhere. Next thing we're gonna do while we have all of this ripped apart with the headlights are out and this upper portion of the grill, we have plenty of access to everything. We're gonna run the wiring for the DRLs. So we're going to hook this into our fuse box here into the engine bay, and then we're gonna route the one side to over here on the driver's side, and then the other wire over here to the passenger side, and we'll get it zip tied up so it's not going to be hanging down or anything like that. So in the fuse box under the hood, you're going to be looking for the INJ fuse. It's a 10 amp fuse. Now on our 4Runner, which is a 2022, the fuse box is a little bit different of a layout versus say like pre-2020. So the INJ fuse is up on this piece, which sits a little higher. And if we put the fuse tap in there, we won't be able to put the lid on correctly. You can get it to click on the back side, but you're not gonna get both of these front pieces to click in place. So it will work, but what's recommended is to run the wire into the interior and use the fuse box in there. So in this video, we're not gonna be doing that because we have a whole bunch of other things in our way, and it's gonna be really difficult to get that wire into our interior. But I am going to still show you how it looks with the DRLs hooked up. If you guys have a pre-2020 4Runner, you should be able to use the fuse box here under the hood and be able to close the lid without a problem. So just locate your INJ fuse for this particular fuse box. Like I said, it is up here on this portion. But what you're going to do is use your fuse puller. You're going to pull out that fuse, and then you're going to take your fuse tap and put that back into the location where you pulled out the fuse. So now you're gonna give power to the original fuse and also to the secondary one, which would go to your DRLs. So now you can take this wiring and you can route it cleanly to both the driver and the passenger side headlight area. So for video purposes, I'm just going to plug that into that location. I'm going to tuck this like so, and we're gonna throw the lid back on. Just like that, and then we'll route this to under here and then along the radiator support over to the passenger side. So at this point you have all of your wiring ready to go and you're almost ready to get your headlights installed. But if you did get those optional superchargers, you're gonna wanna install those now while the headlights are out. It's just gonna be a little bit easier. So there's only 4 Phillips head screws on the back side of the headlight. We're gonna take those out. We're going to pull the DOT spec module out, and we're gonna get the new supercharger one in. It's gonna be really easy. So you can see the 4 screws here. We'll just simply take these out. Now we can go ahead and pop this out. I'm gonna use a trim prying tool to help me pry this out of the headlight. Now everything is still connected in here. You're gonna have 2 plugs, a black one and a white one. So just push in the clip and pull on the harness to get those unplugged. So we got our supercharger. We also got the some grease that is included that we can put a little bit on the O-ring. It's just gonna help it go into the headlight a little bit easier and keep it moisturized. So we'll put a little bit of that on there and smear it on. Now we'll go ahead and plug in our 2 plugs. Make sure they're pushed in all the way, locked in, and we'll tuck the wiring back into the headlight. Push that in and reinstall our screws. All right, we got the supercharger installed. Make sure you keep your DOT spec one. If you ever need it, you could put it back in. And if you were looking at your headlights and wondering what this little thing was here, this is a temperature probe. These headlights have a built-in heater. So if it's snowing out or icy and your headlights have a bunch of stuff on top of them, it can thaw it out by itself with this. If you look at the front, there's some metal fins under the headlight there. That is what heats up and will melt anything that's on the headlight. Pretty cool feature. So we have everything already plugged in. All we have is our main plug. So push it in and then you have this red tab. Push that in to lock it. So we have all of that hooked up. And now we also have our DRL plug. So we'll go ahead and plug that in like that. Now we can go ahead and tuck everything down in there. Just be careful when lining everything up, especially over here on the fender side. Just take your time and get it all tucked in place. All right, there we go. Now we can go and reinstall our 4 bolts and then get the other side done. So if you don't remember, the 3 that look like a screw are going to be going here on top, and then the one that looks like a bolt is going to be the one that goes on the side here down by the fender. All right, we got both headlights installed into the 4Runner. So now we can go ahead and start popping our bumper back into place. And we'll get our bolts reinstalled here on this side. Go ahead and get this in. Once you get your upper grille back in place, snap in your 2 clips here, and then put your 10mm bolt back in here. And then we just need to put on our cover with all of our clips, and we are finished. We do need to get these back in place as well, so peel back the weather stripping, line up all of your clips, and then once they're lined up, you can slide the whole thing forward. Tuck that in there as well. So to put these back in, you do need to pop out that center and then put the clip into the hole. Make sure all the tabs are lined up and then just click that in so it's nice and flush. All right guys, we got everything installed and our lights are ready to be tested. So let's go ahead, close the hood, turn out the lights and see how these look. All right guys, that is a wrap for the Morimoto Evo headlights for the 5th Gen 4Runner, and these things look great. One of the hottest headlights on the market for the 5th Gen 4Runner. So if you guys want to pick a set of these up for your 4Runner, make sure to head over to YotaXpedition.com, click the link down in the description. If you have any questions about this install or the headlights themselves, drop a comment down below. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in the next one.